Hello Cancer, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck I will be pulling from for each side of the connection, as well as the advice deck I will be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So please do remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. So if that's the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, take what helps and leave what doesn't. All right, Cancer. On your side of the connection, you have heated with the Lovers in reverse. Cancer, I take it that you're a little angry. The Lovers in reverse is an indication that you are not being treated like you deserve here. And I feel like you know this and are very angry that this person isn't as aware of it as you are. Like, it's like, you know you deserve better, so why aren't they treating you better kind of thing. Now, I feel like this triggers you a lot deeper than like other connections, because the overall theme of this reading is shadow. So I feel like for whatever reason, this person has a tendency to very heavily trigger you, and I feel like there is a reason for that, but we'll get into that as we keep going. This person on their side have sweet nothings with the World in reverse. Now, I don't usually read these words, but I was drawn to all talk, no action. It feels like that's kind of what this person does. It's like they talk themselves into, or talk you into like giving them another chance, or keeping them around, but then nothing ever changes. It's like they're really good with their words. They're really good at, telling you what you want to hear, but then continue to show up in the energy that makes you feel like this Lover's in reverse, like you're in places that don't align with your worth. Now, in between the connection, you have blame with the Hierophant. So the universe is saying that there is a different perspective here that is needed on this connection. And part of that has to do with like who's wrong and like whose fault it is doesn't really matter. It's more about like, one of my favorite quotes is, a person who blames others hasn't begun their lesson. A person who blames themselves has begun their lesson, and a person who blames no one has finished their lesson. When we are, constantly focused on what other people are doing wrong and how other people need to change and how other people need to do better, we're actually missing what is within our control. So in those moments where we're blaming others, we are giving away our power. Now, it's not to say that they're not in the wrong. It's not to say that, their behavior does need to change, but it's to say that what I am trying to say is that you can't change other people's behavior, right? You can only respond to it, and how you respond to it is going to determine the quality of your life. Other people only have as much power over us as we give them. Now, that tends to be a pretty triggering topic when I talk about that on my channel, but I really have learned that in my life, even in the most painful relationships, dealing with emotionally abusive people and people who just were not good to me. At the end of the day, I really had to learn that I accepted a lot of that mistreatment because I thought that I needed to. I thought that I needed to prove to them that I was deserving of being treated better, or that they needed to change in order for me to be happy, when in reality, I needed to respond differently. But it's hard when you're dealing with someone you love, right? So I feel like that's just in general. I'm just diving into some of the, dipping our toes into some of the things that I feel like we're going to talk about in this reading. That's just overall energy. So let's dive into the story, Cancer. Starting with your side of this connection, you have heated with the Lovers in reverse. This is for Cancer's side of connection. Ooh. Okay, hang on. Four of Swords in reverse. Three of Pentacles. Okay. Slowly but surely, this connection has been just draining you. Like, I think of like there being a hole in the bottom of a bucket. It's just like constantly just draining you. And I feel as if that has been going on in this connection for a very long time. It's not that this doesn't feel new. This feels like something that even if like this person isn't in your life anymore, like they still have a tendency to drain your energy. The energy of anger that you give, of resentment that you have. And I feel like what this reading is really gonna focus on, I mean, I have only one card in, one message in, but I feel like it's about learning how to not do that. Like how to not let this person drain you so much, because, you know, other people are going to do what other people are going to do. And, you know, we can't change that. We can't control other people. Their behavior will eventually catch up to them, but it might not be in the time frame that we wish. So the best thing that we can do for ourselves is figure out what's within our control. You know, focus on what this is trying to teach us, why this has been attracted into our life, and how we can grow and evolve past it so that it doesn't affect us anymore. Cancer side of the connection to this person. You're stuck. It's like you can't move forward. It's like you can't move forward. Like you're stuck. But why? Let me get more on the Six of Swords in reverse. It feels like you can't move out of this energy. Like even if you want to move forward from this person, you're having a hard time doing that. It's like you're stuck here. Wow. Until you get your justice. Okay, there's the issue. You're waiting for this person's permission to allow you to have closure and move on. We all have a tendency to do that. We have a tendency to give other people the power over getting to decide when we heal, right? I need them to apologize, or I need them to change, or I need them to see how they hurt me. And I get why you would want those things. I've been there. And that was, you know, for the longest time, all I wanted. I just wanted the other person's validation of the pain that they caused me. But that kept me stuck in it kept me stuck in anger. It kept me stuck in resentment. It kept me stuck in not moving on. It kept me stuck in pain. And I have learned that closure, like the best revenge is a life well lived. Like that is truly the number one way that we find closure is by building a life where that person who has hurt us, decisions can no longer impact us. Where we're basically able to say, you know, I grew because of this, I'm a different person because of this, and I created this wonderful life because of the way I grew and evolved, because of the things you did, and now nothing that you can do can affect me. And when we get to that point in our life, that's where we're really able to say, like, we found closure. But we look for closure in other people. We look for it in their apology. We look for it in their validation of our pain. And when we do that, we are waiting on somebody else to change, to keep us, to make us feel better, to make us heal. And therefore, we are allowing that person to continue to have that power over us. So, you know, it's easier said than done, absolutely. But you deserve to be in spaces where people are showing up for you, where you can trust that someone's words are going to match their actions. Like, you deserve that. But in order to create that, in order to find that, you have to be able to fully close out the cycle of thinking that this person ever had any power over you at all. This person didn't get to dictate your worth. This person didn't get to determine your value. You let them because you thought you had to, okay? You didn't do anything wrong. But when we allow other people to determine our value and our worth and they don't make us feel valuable, we start to look at what's wrong with us. We start to say, well, if this person treated me poorly or if this person never showed up for me, like what's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? Why am I not valuable enough? When in reality, it never has anything to do with us. But the more power we give them to determine our value, the less we're actually feeling as if we're valuable without that person. Even if like you don't want to be with them, but you still want them to like see your value, you know, that's still waiting on somebody to validate your pain in order for you to heal. And that's not fair to you. Cancer side of the connection. You're allowed to be angry. Anger is actually very healthy. But when you get stuck in anger, that's where things really start to be more harmful than good. I got stuck here. Ooh, interesting. The High Priestess in reverse or the Hierophant in reverse. Here's the thing. I feel like you're mainly frustrated here that this person ended up not being what you wanted them to be. You saw them as somebody in particular, and they were not that person. I don't know if they, like you listened to their words or their promises or what, but I feel like they very much ended up not being that person. And that is very painful, right? That's very frustrating. But this is where I encourage you to take a look at what is within your control. Because if your ultimate goal is to be loved unconditionally by the people that are meant to love you, romantically or otherwise, and this person shows up unable or unwilling to do that, that is a direct reflection or direct answer from the universe that that person is not meant to love you at this time. That doesn't mean you can't be loved, and it doesn't mean you can't have the love that you deserve and desire. It literally just means that this person is not able to meet that. But there's a part of you that keeps believing that maybe this person will change. Maybe things will be different. Maybe they'll wake up and see what they're missing out on or whatever the case is. But why, again, I'm asking this hypothetically, why are you giving this person so much power over your ability to be happy? Because they don't deserve that power over you. They never did, but they certainly don't anymore. So how can you take your power back? How can you stand in your power? I'm flipping this High Priestess around to, you know, like it's being so connected and so deeply in tune with yourself that you're able to understand that when other people can't be what you need, that isn't an indication that your needs can't be met. It's an indication that that is not the path to having them met. And, you know, the more that we try to, you know, the more we wait for other people to change or we give them that power to decide our value, determine our worth, the less valuable and worthy we start to feel. And again, I do feel for some reason this person is triggering you more than other people have in your life. There could be like I do feel as if there's a deeper spiritual lesson associated with this connection, especially seeing the High Priestess and the Hierophant, which is where I got that message. It's like there's this absence of what you thought it was going to be, right? Maybe this absence of what you feel underneath everything. And it's frustrating to you that this person isn't aligning with their potential or with kind of their higher self, right? But this person's decisions shouldn't get to determine how happy you get to be. So figuring out how to take your power back is going to be key here. But let's get more of this person's energy toward Cancer, sweet nothings with the World in reverse. This person's energy toward Cancer. Ooh, my. Whoa, okay. 5 of Wands Eight of Cups. This person, I feel in this connection, was always 1 foot in, 1 foot out. 1 foot out the door. Lack of commitment here, lack of being all in. And you felt that. You knew that. And I feel like you tried to it's like your intuition knew, but this person would like say things that then clouded your judgment. Which is, the number one thing we have to learn to do, and this is why I flipped the High Priestess on its head for you, is we have to get in tune with our gut. And we have to be able to believe the way that somebody makes us feel over the way that we feel about somebody else. And I feel as if that's the deepest lesson here associated with this connection is if you can tell somebody is 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but they're sitting there saying, oh no, I love you, I care about you, and I really want this to work, and blah, 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 but then they're not showing up for that at all, listen to your gut. People show you who they are through their actions or who they're capable of being. Now, you might have sensed that they had a greater potential that you were holding out for, which is natural and understandable why you would hold on to that if you saw that potential. But the anger and the resentment that you have built because of this person never becoming who they either said that they were or kind of surprising you by being someone very different than who they said that they were, is more an indication of believing them over believing yourself. And we all have a tendency to do that, okay? We've all been there. But learning how to not do that is what's going to lead you in the direction to the people who are really capable of loving you and take your power back from the people who aren't. This person's energy toward Cancer. This is definitely a past connection. I really feel like this is someone that you've been dealing with for a long time, or someone from your past that you're having a hard time like moving forward from, even if you want to. This person's energy toward Cancer. Is that upright? No, I wish it was. Sun in reverse. Okay, this person is very. They identify very heavily with their ego, with the version, it's like, okay, they only see what they want to see. They don't see the things that they don't want to see in themselves. So they will always project issues or point the blame on somebody else. They don't want to take the blame for themselves. They only want to focus on the good in them instead of focusing on the things that they don't want to face, because it makes sense because you have this blame here. I feel like you're like, I blame you for this, and they're like, I blame you for this. None of that matters. Who is right and who is wrong doesn't matter. And the more that we get caught up in trying to prove to somebody else that we were deserving of being treated better, again, the more we're saying, you get to determine whether or not I get treated better. Or like, I need you to validate that I was deserving of more, instead of just knowing you're deserving of more and learning to show up for that with that energy from the beginning, which isn't always so easy to do. But yeah, this person's coming from ego. They, I feel like they probably always want to be right. They're more focused on winning an argument, a very you versus them mentality, instead of, figuring out, okay, I love you, how do we make this work? It's, I don't want to face anything that I'm doing wrong, so I'm going to point the blame because it's easier to do that than it is to take accountability, which obviously makes you even more angry because you're sitting there saying, how can you do these things to me and not see that you're doing these things to me? But again, you don't need this person to validate that. It's almost like, why do you need this person to validate that you're hurting? If you're hurting and you know you're hurting because of how someone is treating you, that's all that you need to know. How somebody makes you feel is a sign within itself. And being able to recognize that, how someone makes you feel is a reflection of, where they're at. Now, you can set boundaries and you can give people a second chance, but if they're constantly, telling you what you want to hear and, yeah, I'll change and things will get better, but then they're not changing, that's when you're officially stuck in a cycle. And I feel like that's what's happening with you and this person, or what did happen or has happened for so long. This person's energy toward Cancer, they're insecure. I knew that was going to happen. This person, and I felt it with the sun in reverse, is actually very insecure. And then there's the moon. They have a lot of fear when it comes to love. Now, you might not know that. This person might not, insecurity takes so many different forms. It takes forms of projecting it on other people. It takes people who are like narcissistic and egotistical, they are actually deeply insecure. So they create and construct a version of themselves ego-wise that they can like, that doesn't require them to actually have to face the insecurities within. So that's where the kind of narcissism comes from. I'm not diagnosing anyone. I'm not here to diagnose anyone. Just because someone has narcissistic tendencies does not mean they have a full-blown personality disorder. Please keep that in mind. But other than that, this person is actually very deeply insecure. And I feel as if that's part of the reason why they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They don't feel like they are capable of being loved. And instead of, insecurity kind of, I feel like, tends to appear in either chasing love or running from love. And yes, this person might be, insecure and hurt people and things of that nature. What are you going to do about it? You can't do anything about it. You probably could never even get them to see this because they're so determined to not see these things about themselves. So since that's the case, going back to my original question, what can you control? What's within your power here? If this person never apologized, never took accountability, never changed, what can you do to be happy? If you cannot change them, what can you do to be happy? And I promise you, you don't need their apology to heal. You don't need their validation to heal. I have a lot of people that'll say, I deserve an apology. No, you deserve to heal. And you don't need their apology to do that. Or I deserve their validation. No, you deserve to feel better. You deserve to move on and create a life for yourself that doesn't have anything to do with this person. So that no matter what they do from this point forward, it doesn't matter because you're able to live the life that you're truly deserving and desiring of. But in order to do that, Cancer, and you might not even be like fully aware that you are doing this, but you have got to stop giving this person so much power over you. And I know how hard it is when someone, because I feel like this person is triggering like super deep insecurities, like maybe abandonment trauma or betrayal or, things that kind of go a little deeper than the surface, which is why I feel it's so triggering for you, is because it's not just the situation that's happening on the surface, it's also the wounds that are being triggered underneath. But going back to what I said, you do not need this person to heal those. This person is bringing to the surface a lot of the things that need to be healed, but the more that you think you need them to heal or need them to be happy, the less you are going to find yourself healed and happy because you're waiting on somebody else to do that for you. And they can't do that. They're not in a position, I don't see them changing. I feel like they're always just kind of doing what they can to not have to face themselves. And it's nothing that you can do about that. And it's hard. And I know how hard that is. But you deserve to heal. You deserve to feel better. And you deserve to be free of the pain that this has caused you. Cancer side of the connection. And it's possible for all those things to happen. It's possible for you to heal. Cancer side of the connection to this person. Cancer. Ooh. Woo. 8 of Swords, 5 of Cups, 5 of Swords. Oof. Feels like this person is proving, quote unquote, these limiting beliefs that you have about love correct. Like if you have beliefs, I'm always going to be abandoned, or I'm always going to be cheated on, or I'm always going to, people always leave, or whatever the case is. It's almost like this person validated these things. And I feel like that's why you're having such a hard time healing from this, and I kind of already alluded to this, but they're bringing to the surface these deeper beliefs that you have about yourself. So really, the way that you could view this is that this connection is giving you an opportunity. It's giving you an opportunity to heal in ways that you wouldn't heal if this connection hadn't have happened. And when you look at that from the perspective of, okay, if I am capable of having the love I truly deserve and desire, and every relationship I experience is a stepping stone on the path to that, then what is this trying to teach me? What is within my control and my power that I need to learn so that I can be, so I can take my power back and I can create a life that makes me feel happy and fulfilled regardless of what this person does? Because that's the biggest thing. I feel like your ability to be healed or loved or to have what you deserve is very intertwined in this person's decisions. And this person's decisions shouldn't have a single thing to do with your ability to be happy. But for some reason, I feel like I know the reason. And I feel like what it is this person has it's like they're a spiritual assignment for you. This connection is a spiritual assignment. And it's bringing to the surface things that need to be addressed and healed that have been below the surface, and your ability to heal those things does not lie in their hands. I feel like I've said that 50 times, but I feel like it's important for you to hear. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like, and I can, when I was dealing with, I've talked about this on this channel before, so you might have heard me talk about this before, but I was in an emotionally abusive relationship about 4 years ago for 7 months, but it felt like years. I mean, this connection did so much damage to me and to my life in a very short period of time. It felt like years. But in that connection, after we broke up, so he treated me poorly the whole 7 months, and then he ended up leaving me. I was left going absolutely, I was like, what the hell? I stuck around. I loved this person through all of this, and then I ended up getting left, right? It destroyed me on so many levels. And I spent a lot of time being so angry. I can't believe that person would do that. He's so insecure, and he needs to change, and he needs to, blah, 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 and hurt people, and all of those things were true, okay? There were certain things that I saw in him that were absolutely true, but I missed the whole point because it wasn't about him. It wasn't about what he did to me. It was about what I needed to heal and how I needed to grow and how I needed to see that I was accepting so much less than what I deserved because I thought that that's what I was deserving of. And when I started directing my energy to that and to what needed to heal and what needed to grow, and recognizing that there were traumas that I hadn't uncovered that were being brought up through this connection, and abandonment, trauma, and just all these things that I, didn't want to face in myself, but I was trying to change him and see what he needs to change. There were ways that I needed to change, and the way that I needed to readdress my approach to relationships, and the way that I needed to see my value more. And the more that I started to do that, the more the relationships around me started to change. And that's why my focus in my readings, and specifically in this reading for you, Cancer, is so much about focusing on what you need. And I never got an apology. He never took accountability. Nothing ever happened to make him change. But where I'm at in my life right now, engaged to the love of my life, what he does not impact my life. I am so indifferent about this person. And when I was in the middle of this, I thought I never would be. And that's why I feel, and I was waiting for so long for him to apologize or whatever it was I thought I needed, and it never happened, and I thought I was never going to be okay. And I'm better than okay because of that, and you can be too. That's why I'm so passionate about focusing on what you can control, because it's what I learned always gets you further in life. The more that we blame the people that hurt us, the less that we see the lesson and what's within our power, because you are more powerful than you think. It's just has nothing to do with your power over other people. It has to do with how you respond to other people, and your response is what creates your life. I hope this is making sense. I feel like this is probably a pretty triggering reading, but I'm just trying to come from this place of love with these messages, because they are difficult to give. Rug ripped out from underneath you. And that's what I feel is so interesting, is it's like this person, I feel like, very much pretended to be someone that they're not, or a lot of false promises, and then I feel the rug was ripped out from underneath you whenever you were shown who they really were. Now, on the flip side of this, I feel as if you actually had, I feel as if you knew. I feel as if the whole time in this connection, you knew who they really were. But you saw them for who you wanted them to be and who they showed up as, because you felt certain things. You know, this high priestess here, like I do very much feel as if you wanted them to be somebody they weren't, and you knew they weren't that person, but you wanted it so bad that you saw them through that lens. And then when their actions kept aligning with not being that person, you felt blindsided by it because of the perspective that you had, which is natural. And that is understandable. And you didn't do anything wrong. Seeing the good in people is not a bad thing. But when we see the good in people so much so that we ignore the way that they make us feel, that's where we get ourselves into trouble, because this person didn't make you feel loved. They didn't make you feel valued. They made you feel like maybe one day they could make you feel loved and valued, and maybe there were glimpses of times and things, words that they said that made you feel that way, but consistently and sustainably, they did not make you feel that way. So this is about learning to get in tune with your intuition and learning to understand that you have to pay attention to the way that people make you feel. Cancer side of this connection. We're getting deep in this reading. Cancer side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. I feel like you chose yourself in the end, or are in the process of choosing yourself. But I still feel as if you are waiting for this person to choose you too, in some way. Whether you're waiting for them to say, oh, I miss you, so you can tell them to F off, or maybe you are waiting for them to come back, or maybe you are waiting for them to apologize, or take accountability, or whatever. You think you need from them, and the universe is saying you need to realize that you do not need them. You don't need anything from this person anymore to be happy, to be abundant, to be loved, to be healthy, to be all the things that you need and want to be. You do not need this person. You do not need anything from them anymore. And you have to drop the idea that you do, because what that's going to continue to do is keep you attached to their decisions and to what they do, which is going to keep you stuck in this energy of feeling as bad as you have. And you deserve to feel better. You deserve to feel good. And it's just this person might not be the one to make that happen for you. But there's nothing you can do about that, right? And just know that you will heal and things will get better. But this is about moving forward instead of trying to change this into something it's not. This person's energy toward Cancer. Remember, what is meant for you will never pass you. The universe is always bringing you to new experiences, to be loved, to experience joy, to have abundance. All those experiences still exist for you. This person's energy toward Cancer. Ooh, okay. I mean, okay, this person, we said this from the beginning, all talk, no action. And it's coming from a place of immaturity. It's almost like, this is a hard message to deliver. If you accept the level of effort that someone gives you, and they never, if you say, oh, I need you to change, and they're like, yeah, I'll change, but then they don't change, and you continue to stay in that cycle with them, they're never going to change. Because why would they change if they could continue to show up with the same effort and you continue to stay? You know, we have to learn that we really do teach people how to treat us. And we teach people how to treat us by what we're willing to accept. And in the beginning of a lot of connections, we have a tendency to accept way more than usual because we want the connection to work, especially if we feel pull to that person, whatever the case might be. But what you're needing to know is that I feel like you ignored your intuition in this connection. And the universe is saying, we want to make sure that doesn't happen again so that you can attract the correct, so that you can know which people are meant for you and which people aren't, so that you don't have to go through this cycle. And I'm not saying this is not a blame game, right? This is not about pointing fingers. This is not, it's coming to this place of saying you can blame this person all day long for what they did, but that is not going to help you heal. And it's going to keep you scared from getting into new connections because you're going to go, man, I hope that doesn't happen again. What seeing your role and your suffering does, which is absolutely a necessary part of growth, is it allows you to say, this is what is within my power, so I can make sure that never happens again, and I can make sure that I'm only attracting the people that are meant for me into my life. So this is taking your power back. This is about stepping in to your power and allowing yourself to be more in control of yourself instead of trying to be in control of other people, which is a hard thing to do. This person's energy toward Cancer. Yeah, the Page of Pentacles in reverse, that's an energy of immaturity. It's like, it literally is like they don't have what it takes to show up. They're not in a place, they're not in a place in their life. They're insecure, they are, they aren't self-aware. They don't have what it takes to show up in this connection. And you have a right to be upset about the way that they treated you. But what you can't do is wait for them to change for you to be happy. Because they're not ready. They're not ready for you. They may never be ready for this kind of connection. There is literally no indication in this reading that this person is changing, growing, seeing the error of their ways, nothing. It feels as if they're very stuck in this energy and will continue to be until their journey takes them out of it, which might not even be in this lifetime. So what can you do, right? You can't change them. You can't make things different, but you can change yourself. And the more we change, the more the people around us change. This person's energy toward Cancer. This person's energy toward Cancer, please. Six of Swords with a Judgment. As they're moving forward with the same, okay, this person needs a reality check, right? They need a shift in perspective if they're ever going to be able to show up healthily in connections. As of right now, they are in the same place as they were when this connection happened. Or like I said, there's no indication of change. It's like they're moving forward with the same truth. It's almost like you need to remove yourself from this person's version of reality, because I feel like it's very warped to what their ego needs to see in order for them to feel okay and feel good. And that's not fair to you. No, absolutely not. There's nothing you can do about it. So what can you do about it? Because you have power. You have more control in this than you think. I remember what it felt feeling so powerless to that connection and so, stuck on needing somebody to see my worth and see my value in order for me to be loved. And it's almost like I had to take that power away from that person by saying, I'm going to build a life for myself that doesn't allow that person to have any control over me. And you are capable of doing that too, whether this is a boss or a parent or a family member or a friend or a romantic partner. You have the ability to remove yourself from their narrative, to remove yourself from their reality, and to create one that aligns with what it is you're truly deserving of instead of waiting for them to align with what you're truly deserving of, because that's not fair to you. Okay, in between the connection, where we focus on deeper purpose of the connection, best way for you to move forward in order to align with your higher self, you have blame with the Hierophant. I'm going to pull 9 different messages, and then I have an advice card for you at the very end. Thank you so much, Cancer, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Cancer.